Hey all, it's Dinosaur. I just wanted to talk to you about another film I saw today called Tammy. Um, this film circles around the life of someone by the name of Tammy, which is dealing with a really dysfunctional family. A grandmother which has alcohol and like diabetic medical problems, and a mother that just doesn't care anymore. And her father, or actually her husband, on that is pretty much having an affair with another woman, and she doesn't know how to do it or deal with it. And it's kind of a sad story. Tammy, people say it's funny, and someone, they said to ask go see this movie, so I went and saw it, and it was like it wasn't even that funny. I mean, there's some just gross stuff into it, where she gets terminated. She runs into a deer with her Toyota Corolla, and she's like, "Oh, come, like it's okay. You can come back. You come back." And the deer gets up and runs away. And then, of course, her Corolla's totaled. And even with the totaled Corolla, she's still trying to get to work. She gets to work late, and then she gets terminated. And she's like, "What? My car? You want to go look at the car? And just see it for yourself? I'm not lying here." And she's working at a fast food restaurant, and as she's fired, she licks her hands, touches all the meat, goes this in the meat with her hair, contaminates all the food, and then takes like 4 or 5 hamburgers and say, "This is overtime not paid. This is overtime not paid," and then she leaves here, and as she's leaves there, and she's like, "Screw you, screw you, screw you," and after she leaves the place, she drives her Toyota Corolla back home, which then falls apart, and then she ends up walking home on that, and then she walks in, and his husband is having an affair on that by cooking her dinner, and this scumbag husband never cooked her dinner, and it's just sad. And she's like fat and overweight, and then she walks over to her mom's place on that, and her mom's like, you got to do it, and she's like, "Mom, I gotta get out of this town, I gotta do something." Like, grandma's like, "Well, F yeah, let's go. Place is stupid. I don't want to die in this house. I hate this place. Let's go." And she and Tammy go off on this road trip, in this wild road trip where their goal is to get to Niagara Falls, but they're going the wrong way. And they go down to Louisiana and stuff, and they meet barbecue. The grandma gets freaking smashed, has an affair, and it's so kind of sad because like the grandma is like flirting with this other guy, which she's gonna have sex with in their car that they're with, and they have to wait. They get to a hotel room, and they kick Tammy out of the hotel room so they can have sex, and she's sleeping on the front door. And it's just like, really? This is humor? It's depressing. The whole thing is depressing. I mean, mainly to me, and I can see to other people who've grown up or known people who are alcoholics, and they recognize this stuff. It's just, these are irrational people. This is not just one fling party, spring break blowout where you act a fool and you wake up and says, "Man, I am sorry. I was so smashed. I didn't know what happened to me." And and what do you say? You say, "Oh, okay, that's cool. That's cool. You don't do it all the time. You did this once. I'm pissed at you, but I'm not gonna hate you for it. Come on, let's go get some breakfast." And I was like, "Okay." So what happens is that she goes out, and they both end up getting arrested, and that's because the grandma was found with, I believe, drugs on her possession. Well, actually, there's two things, but that's the they end up getting arrested on that by the police because they get into a fight. What happens is The next morning, Tammy and her grandma have a fight. She takes the car and leaves her. She goes across the street and she's at the slurp machine pouring whiskey in and just drinking up. Just drinking up. And, it's sad because I've seen this kind of behavior before. And and she finally shows up and says, "What are you doing?" And then she comes out with the beer her grandmother bought. And the kids show up and say, "Hey, thanks for the beer." I'm like, "What the hell are you talking about?" She's like, "Oh, these are my new friends. They're going to give me a lift." Because I'm like, "What? These are kids. You're buying booze for kids?" So the kids get in a fight with them and they steal the beer. And as the kids are running away, Tammy picks up a can of beer, throws it, hits the front bumper of a police car. And she's like, "Great." So they end up getting arrested. Tammy gets bailed out, but then they find out that Grandma had 32 ounces of a particular drug that was illegal, and and it was a prescription drug, and she didn't have a prescription for it. Then Tammy needs $3,000. She has $1,600, but she doesn't have the other $1,400. So she gets this idea about robbing the place that fired her. The same company. She robs it. She goes ahead and robs it, and then the guy that her grandma was banging bails her out, and then they have to go return the $1,400. So they return the $1,400, and then go on, and then they meet up with her grandma's cousin, who then torches the car to protect them, to try to have them escape. So they go to the grandma's place, which is she's a total lesbian, and I'm not making fun of that. It's just that's what she is. That's what she proclaims as, and she's having a big old lesbian party, and I'm talking nothing but women, no men, and they're just having a great old time. And Tammy's trying to make do with all this. The only thing she asked her grandma on that party is don't get smashed. Please don't. Just have a little, but control yourself. Let me tell you something, everyone, that when you're dealing with alcoholics and you ask them, don't get smashed, there's no way around that. Once they have one drink, they have to have another, and another, and another. That's the nature of alcoholism. That's the disease it is. It's the lacking the ability to stop. When to say, "Hey, I've had enough. Put the drink down." I'm stopping this for just a moment because it's such a real condition. Because my family has had problems with it in the past, and I think everyone's family has had a problem with it or something. And it's just. Maybe the best analogy I could give is from a 30-year-old television show that I saw was MASH, when you had one of the main characters looking at a drink saying, "I need a drink." And then he looks at the drink, and then he puts the drink down and says, "I can't have the drink." Says, "No, what?" He says, "Because if I need the drink, then I shouldn't drink. I'll come back for the drink when I want the drink." And it's the mental discipline to stop, when to realize if you have a problem, and addressing that problem, and just to cease. I could tell you stories of me getting just smashed, waking up going, "What the hell happened?" And nowadays, like as I get older, I'm like looking around going, "Hey, yo, I want to get home in one piece. I gotta slow down here." Or, realizing like, "Hey, our meal's done, and I gotta slow down. I gotta stop drinking, because I gotta give my time for me to sober up on that." And sometimes even my friends have driven me, and they'll sit with me in the car on that for an hour or so, whatever it takes, when they feel that I'm sober enough to drive on that. And that's the important thing, because alcohol can destroy families, not only just just families or friends, it'll destroy your life if you let it. And that's it. Um, I think only places like Las Vegas you can get, or Reno, you can get just completely toasted, and you may be completely toasted, but you're sober enough to get back to your room. You are that sober to get back to your room, even if it means holding onto that toilet all night. You're sober enough for that, and that's the beauty about those places. But then again, those places are only fun if you have any money. Catch 22. But anyway, I know I'm getting a little off subject. So anyway, she's dealing with alcoholism, but she also, some of the secrets of her family's messed up past comes out because of that. Um, and then the only redeeming thing is after they had a scare where they thought the grandma died, when she didn't, she just really passed out and drunk. And then she wakes up like, what the heck's going on? And then she's not feeling well, and then she has to go to the hospital. And then the police arrive and arrest Tammy for the fraud, and she's rehabilitated. She gets released 40 days later, and the person who met her at jail was her father, who happens to be Dan Aykroyd. And Dan Aykroyd, probably one of his actually better performances, looks at the girl, looks at his daughter, and says, or Tammy says, "Let me tell you something. If you want that MFer, that which is her ex-husband, that guy killed, I'll be glad to do it." And she's like, "What?" And he says, "I'm old. I don't mind going to jail. They have magazines. I'll be fine. I don't care. This SOB hurt my daughter. I will." And what's funny, and you could see most fathers having that kind of rage with their daughters, when their husbands or their boyfriends treat them that way, because it's just rage. It's like, how dare you? And I can see that. And the funny you see it is when Tammy goes back to her now soon-to-be ex-husband, goes to the front door, opens it up. You saw Dan Aykroyd going, and the guy's like, that was funny. I was only seeing, he was a cameo, but it was beautiful. It was a great scene. He's like, and then the whole movie eventually ends where Tammy starts taking care of her life, and they finally get up to Niagara Falls and see that here, where this one guy that she's been talking to that happened to be the son of the guy that was having sex with the grandma, on that finally kisses her at the end. Overall, the movie, I think, was in bad taste. There was a whole bunch of fat jokes, a whole bunch of this, a whole bunch of that, like exploitative in a way. And it's like they're almost making fun of her obesity. So, I mean, I don't know. I don't know what to tell people about it. Take a look again, see what you. I definitely, it's not a theater thing. Definitely not. Not a theater movie. Just that it's more of a $1 special on Amazon. It's not that good. But anyway, this is Gustav saying check it out. Thanks all. I'll talk to you later.